Hi everybody, welcome to today's show on JTV. It is Wednesday, it's hump day already. We were just talking Monday.
That's right.
Mondays always suck, and now we're on Wednesday. High school football is in a couple days.
It's
so
right around the corner.
I'm David, that's Adam. Hello Adam, it's an exciting time right now because the Detroit Tigers are in the playoffs.
Unbelievable.
Right now.
So happy. So happy.
Haven't clinched it yet.
But it's looking good.
We'll talk about that coming up. We'll have our picks later in the show. We'll bring you soccer highlights. So it's going to be a good one. And thanks to the Insurance Circle Agency, too. So thanks to them, Spring Arbor Road, and in Battle Creek. High school sports update here before we get to the Tigers. A lot of action happening Monday night and Tuesday since we were with you last. A lot of volleyball happened. Hanover Horton won a quad meet, and they won in straight sets over Vandercook and Addison, 6-0. Columbia beat EJ, and Jonesville defeated EJ. And Grass Lake won the quad at Columbia Central. So also there was a quad Michigan Center, Napoleon, Manchester, Leslie, Concord straight sets there. And all the daily scores and volleyball pictures and all other pictures too, and not even sports pictures. It's at jtv.tv. I keep hitting the mic today. I don't know what it is. I'm gonna knock everything down before the show's over.
Man?
I'm just too excited to watch Tariq Skubal and just tear it up on the mound. There's cross country happened too. Grass Lake won their tri-meet. Jackson hosted a big SEC jamboree. And girls cross country, Grass Lake won the event. So they won in boys and girls in the event. Lumen Christi lost 5-1 in boys soccer. Western won in boys soccer. Columbia and Manchester squared off in boys soccer. Again, we'll have highlights coming up after the break. And Northwest won in boys tennis. So for all that, jtv.tv. So, and of course, we have more sports coming up tonight, Wednesday, and Thursday, leading up to, of course, then high school football on Friday. So we've got more volleyball Wednesday, Thursday. Lumen is hosting. Northwest and Western are on the road. Center, Leslie, and Jay High are all hosting soccer. We've got an I-8 conference championship in golf coming up tomorrow or today. The I-8 has Western and Northwest in there, and there's boys tennis as well. Plus, Jackson College is at home for men's soccer, too. They have a great facility out there, so I recommend you go check it out. While you're checking out the boys soccer game, you can go over and watch volleyball, too. They have a great volleyball team that's playing really well right now, and you'll check out the air station if it's still open. So all sorts of cool stuff out there. The new fitness court, so cool stuff out of JC. So, now that we got the high school sports update out of the way, the Tigers, how about it? I mean, I would. There's no other way.
How about it?
I mean,
how about it?
Skubal, I mentioned it here. Runaway, unanimous, Cy Young.
Yeah, he's the Cy Young for the American League.
There's no
discussion. For sure. Yeah, I mean, he's currently leading the Triple Crown race. So anytime
yeah, I forgot to put that down. There was one other thing I was going to mention too. There was the Triple Crown.
Yeah.
So the last time a Tigers pitcher won the Triple Crown was
Justin Verlander.
That's right. Will he do it again? A Tigers pitcher do it again? I think so. I mean,
I'd be shocked if Tarek didn't get this now. You know, he's leading in all of it, and I don't think they'll use him at the end of the year. I just have a feeling that...
Well, I don't think they should play him the last 3 games.
No, I mean, it would be that last game if he did.
Because we talked about it on Monday. So if we beat Tampa today, Wednesday, and Thursday, we'll pretty much be good for the playoffs at that point.
Yeah, I mean...
Not officially clinched.
Right,
as long as Minnesota's been losing, though.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. They lost. I think it was. They won yesterday, but Kansas City lost. So that's how we officially leapfrog Kansas City, in the standings. We technically have the tiebreaker over them, I think. So,
but I don't think he should still pitch though against the White
that's
Sox.
probably it. I mean, originally I was excited because I'm like, oh, what a way to close out the year, but we need him. I love that I can say this, but we need him for the postseason. I mean, he's our ace. So have him go out there in game one. That'd be awesome to be able to take game one on the road against who I assume will be Baltimore. We'll still see if could still end up being Houston.
Well, I saw something yesterday that said if the season or if the playoffs started today, we would be playing Houston.
And that was at the beginning of yesterday, if I remember correctly. Beginning of yesterday, that's what it would be. Now we have the tiebreaker over Kansas City, so now it would technically be against Baltimore. But we're tied. That could change. If we end up losing against Chicago, that would change. So it's still close, but we know the magic number. I mean, we are so close, dude. We just got to get a couple more wins and avoid getting beaten by Tampa Bay, which I think we have a really good chance of winning tonight. So I'm excited.
As of Tuesday night, Tigers are now 83-74, 2 games ahead of Minnesota now. Of course, they beat the Rays Tuesday afternoon 2-1. Skubal was on the mound for that. Of course, Wednesday, Thursday versus Tampa, and then they end the season Friday, Saturday, Sunday at home against the White Sox. So Benetti said he's not calling college football this weekend.
That's pretty cool.
He's gonna skip out on that this week. He's gonna wrap it up with the Tigers.
Good, because we need him
against his old team, the White Sox.
That's pretty awesome. And boy, Jason Benetti must be thrilled. He could have been announcing the worst team in baseball history for the whole season, but instead he came to Detroit and we had this resurgence. So, I mean, good for him too. He avoided having to watch some pretty bad baseball.
Well, he'll still have to watch half bad baseball this weekend from the White Sox.
As long as it's not the Tigers that are doing it.
Right. So Wednesday night, so they're playing right now then, actually, the Tigers as we're on then. So Wednesday night against Tampa. So do we know who's on the mound today?
I can't remember, but I will look it up. It could be Reese. It could be. Oh no, it's Montero. It's Montero today.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I'm confident.
Yeah. He's been kind of in the middle. I think he's like 6-6 or something like that. But there were some games he didn't have.
Been
much
up and
support.
down, but it's.
I still think he's a good pitcher. Definitely. I definitely wish we had Jack Flaherty. I wish we wouldn't have sold him at this point, but because that's where he would be right now. It'd be Jack Flaherty, but still Montero can be definitely serviceable. So I am excited for the game tonight. We could get a big win, and then you just got to hope that Minnesota, Kansas City keep losing.
And then of course they'll win all 3 against the White Sox.
I hope so. We're kind of saying that that's a for sure thing, but it's as close to that as possible when you're facing the worst team in baseball history.
I mean, are they now officially the worst team in baseball
They need
history?
one more loss. So I guess that's what it comes down to. I mean, Chicago White Sox fans last night were booing because they beat the Angels. I mean, how crazy is that? They were booing because they won.
That's sad that I know intentionally at that point it's
a meme at that point. They're
milking
around.
it. They're tanking the losses,
sure.
But still, they don't even support you that much though, to the point where even if you win, they still aren't cheering.
Yeah, I think it's that like 0-16, like with the Lions mentality, where it's just kind of
put a brown paper bag over your head.
It gets
for that,
so bad. It gets so bad at a certain point that you're just kind of like, you know what? I watch this. I want this team to be the worst ever because at least something happened instead of us just being just mediocre and that's it. It's like, well, at least I got to witness the worst team ever, So I think that's maybe what White Sox fans were hoping for. But don't worry, they're probably going to lose tonight. If not, they are going to have to be facing us. So.
Right. So they'll set the record.
Eventually.
Either way.
It could be
probably
tonight.
Before they even get to Detroit.
Could be tonight. Could be tomorrow.
So.
We'll see.
Also, later, if we have time at the end of the show, why do we keep having 2 Monday Night Football games?
I'm just not a big fan
Especially because this last Monday, one of them was so bad. Just a horrible game.
Everybody tuned off of it, where if that was the only game on, you're still going to end up watching it. At least you're going to have it on and while you're doing other things, but everybody's going to tune off of that game to watch. But it's both ABC properties. It's either ESPN or it's ABC, so it's not like they're losing out on a bunch of money.
And this next Monday, though, one of them is an awful game. It's just And even the Thursday night game is going to be bad. We have a really bad prime time schedule.
I'm going to make the argument that the Thursday game, we'll get to this, but the Thursday game I think will actually be a really close game. It's a division game. I think it's two teams that really need to win. So I think that could be interesting. I think that Titans-Dolphins game is going to be the worst one of the week. And it's going to be on Monday.
Year.
Yeah, it could be.
Because the Dolphins are without now Skylar Thompson, the backup. They have the third string now.
I keep forgetting about
Tim
that.
Boyle, former Packer, Tim Boyle.
Yeah, if the Titans don't win this game, there's big problems. I know they're facing a better defense, but still, there's some big problems. If you're trotting out your number one quarterback against a team's third and you can't pick up a win, it's bad.
But the problem also, though, with the Titans, we'll talk more about it later, but just briefly, also, problem with the Titans is all around they haven't been able to hang on to the football. They've had a lot of fumbles. It's been a turnover issue, but their offensive line has been the worst by far in football.
So bad.
I don't want to put all of it on Will Levis.
No, for sure.
But a good part of it.
I mean, Will Levis still isn't doing great, but yeah, I mean, he's getting rushed out of the pocket, and he's not that type of. It's not like he's Kyler Murray out there where he's just like torching up the field. So it's like, and he's made some bad decisions, but that offensive line is pretty bad. But I mean, that was my big complaint against Carolina, and then look what Andy Dalton ended up doing the second they benched Bryce Love. So there might be something like that there, but I don't know.
Can the Dolphins pick up Mike White? Can we see a Mike White resurgence again?
Yeah, where is he, by the way? Is he just hanging out?
I don't know. Because who's Rodgers' backup? Zach Wilson?
Still Zach Wilson, yeah.
Okay, so maybe Mike White's the third string then. So he'll have no chance of playing then. So should go to Mike White then if you're Miami. And I'm joking, but I'm serious because
he's a Buffalo Bills quarterback. Just looked it up.
Okay, and Mitch Trubisky's the Bills' backup.
So he's the third string for the Bills.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
That stinks. Yeah, that stinks.
Guess I'd rather be third string on like a contending team.
Ryan Tannehill, he's a free agent. I'm pretty sure he's a free agent. You could bring him into Miami.
A reunion.
Yeah.
Miami
right?
and Tannehill. Not that it would be a good reunion, but it would be one.
He started the miracle in Miami, so you never know. He might be back.
They also had it was a much different team.
It was. That was before Tyreek and all that.
So, we also have a lot of high school picks to get to. So, we will get to that coming up. And, of course, we will get to Grass Lake at Napoleon happening this Friday. So, when we come back, we will show you highlights of Columbia, Manchester, and some soccer action. Stay tuned. Welcome back here on JTV. I'm David Rice. Our show today brought to you by the Insurance Circle Agency. Thanks to them, myinsuranccircle.com. Of course, also thanks to Pataki Orthodontics and everybody else helping you bring this show. Football night in Jackson coming up on Friday, thanks to Minuteman Sewer and Drain. Lot of course, we mentioned a lot of high school football. Of course, at the start of the show, I mentioned high school sports update. Of course, all other sports happening, you can find photos online for jtv.tv, including video highlights from Columbia Central and Manchester in a newer Cascades rivalry now. So, Columbia-Manchester boys soccer happened, I think, yesterday or 2 days ago. So, if you missed it, the highlights are coming at you now. course, for more highlights from that game and other games and photo galleries, you can go online to JTV.tv. So thanks to Noah Baker for going out and getting those highlights.
That was a
And
Noah Baker special, huh?
It was a Noah
No
Baker
kidding.
production.
All
So
right.
thank you, Noah. When we come back, we will be making our game picks, high school, NFL, college, including Waterford, Our Lady of the Lakes, happening on Saturday. Stay tuned. Welcome back here on JTV. I'm David Rice. That's Adam. Let's get to our game picks. We have a lot of games, so let's get right into it. High school football, 8-man action. Concord has struggled the last 2 weeks, giving up 54 last week and 70 before that. They take on another exceptional 8-man team in Morenci, going to Morenci, home of the Bulldogs, near Ohio. Concord really struggled the last couple of weeks. So give me the Bulldogs. Give me Morenci.
Yeah, they're giving up a bit too many points for my liking. So this season, so I am taking the Bulldogs as well.
Now going to the Big 8 Conference. Springport's 4-0 for the first time since 2019. Great for Coach Ben Pack and the Springport program. Taking on Quincy. Give me the Spartans on the road. The only Spartan team I'm picking today.
That's right. I believe in the Port. I think that they're just going to keep
Port?
winning. I believe in the Port. So I'm going to take Springport in this game. I think they're the better team, so I think they'll remain undefeated.
Another big league opponent for Lumen Christi this week. They blew out UFD Jesuit last week by, I think, almost 30. Cadale Williams came back last week for Lumen and had 4 touchdowns. So safe to say he's fine after the injury. But Lumen Christi playing Divine Child this week. Lumen Christi's on a roll. Give me the Titans.
Yeah, same here. I think we're going to be the same for a few of these. But yeah, Lumen Christi is, I think they're just going to run that ball right down their throats. I think it's going to be a big game for Cadale Williams. So I have Lumen Christi winning this game against Divine Child.
Western taking on Coldwater in I-8 action. Coldwater fell to Northwest last week. The Mounties got their first win last Friday. And Western had a big loss to Hastings. That was a shocker in the I-8, 37-17. Western will bounce back against a not very good Coldwater team. So give me Western.
Yeah, I think best thing that could happen to them was Western losing that last game. So I think they're going to come back and they're going to win big here in Coldwater.
Staying in the I-8, Northwest got their first win last week. Last week was their homecoming, so great for the Mountie Nation. They're taking on Marshall, a team that we saw a couple weeks ago take on Western. Marshall has some weapons. Their quarterback's okay, and he can run too. He can move. He's mobile, and they have a decent wide receiver and a decent running back. So I think it'll be an okay game. And even though Northwest won last week, they've still struggled, and it was a lower scoring win. So I'm going to take the Red Hawks and Coach Farley. I'm going to take Marshall at home.
Yeah, I'm thinking the exact same thing. I just think that they have more weapons than Northwest does right now with this program. So I just got to take Marshall. I got to take the team that has a very established coach as well. So it's not like we're just picking any old team. So I have Marshall winning this one.
Well, hope you're staying safe in Ypsilanti. Jackson High playing Ypsi Community this Friday. The Vikings are on a roll with Coach Parker. Can't stop, won't stop. They're going to keep winning. Give me the Vikings.
I was about to say, I can't not pick them just because this role that they're going on. It's like, they've just been so dominant. So I got to take Jackson. They just keep finding ways to win and keep finding ways to score. So I have Jackson beating Ypsi in Ypsi.
Yep. Cascades West battle. Columbia getting a huge upset win over Addison last week, 38-8. Taking on the Cook this week, Vandercook Lake. Give me the Eagles, Columbia.
Oh, cool. We finally differ on one. I could not take the Cook. I have to take the Cook. I got Vandercook Lake winning this one. That was a big win for Columbia Central, but I think they come back down here, and Cook at home gets the victory.
So, if Columbia lost last week or if Vandercook beat Homer last week, I would have picked the Cook. But Vandercook, that's their second game this year where it was like both teams knew coming in they could win.
Mm-hmm.
Like Vandercook, EJ, both teams coming in knew they could both win. Vandercook won that game, and great for their program there. And then coming in, taking on Homer, that was a game with both teams. Okay, we know we can win this game, and Hanover didn't beat Homer, so that's why I'm taking Columbia Central in this game. So,
and I totally get, and that's 100% valid. This is more of a toss-up game for me, and I typically will go with momentum, but I just feel like
Columbia's got all the momentum right now between the two teams.
And that's what I would typically go with, but I don't know, just something is telling me when I looked at this that I just think Vandercook keeps it close, and I think they pick up the victory. It'll be really close, though, but I think Vandercook might be pretty darn hungry to get a victory here.
Going back to the other side of the Cascades, to the east, East Jackson hosting Michigan Center. The Cardinals, tough loss last week to Leslie by 1. They're now 1-3 on the year. I don't think anybody expected that. But I'm still going to take Michigan Center, although they are pretty banged up. They lost 2 offensive linemen from last week's game, and they're already down to their backup quarterback in Collins. But we know Center still has the weapons, so we know they can be a great team. I mean, look at the first half against Lumen Christi, like we mentioned on Monday.
That. And Leslie, look at how good Leslie has played all year, and they came down to where it was the drive to win it, and just couldn't bring in the catch.
They kept Leslie in check. Now Leslie won, but it was only by 1. It came down to the last play.
Sure. So with that being said, I have Michigan Center. Winning.
I'm going to take the Cardinals too.
Same thing. Yeah, I just think they cannot look at the record that they have, because that is not representative of representing this football team. They're a lot better than that. They got it. If they don't get this win, though, this is starting to, I think, be it. So this is a absolute must win for Michigan Center, and I do think that they pick up the win, even with having banged up offensive linemen and having guys that are coming in, because I assume those guys are out, so they have replacements. So we'll see how that goes. Offensive line is important, but I think Michigan Center still has the weapons enough to win.
And after this week, Center's schedule doesn't get any easier either, because they just played Leslie, but they still have Manchester and Grass Lake and Napoleon.
And that's why this is an absolute must-win. They have to get this.
Have. And so I think they'll take care of East Jackson, and that'll give them a little bit of confidence, even though they are pretty banged up, to go into either Manchester or Grass Lake next week. Say, okay, now this is the biggest test of the season so far. I wouldn't count Lumen as the biggest test, because that will just erase that from the schedule to me.
Mm-hmm.
But Manchester and Leslie, though, staying in this little bubble of teams here in the East, this is the biggest game in the Cascade so far this year, to me, between the East and West. I think whoever, because we'll get to Grass Lake Napoleon later, in one of our last couple high school picks, and I think Grass Lake will win over Napoleon. So because of that, I think whoever wins Leslie Manchester, when one of those two teams plays Grass Lake, because those three all haven't played each other yet. So whoever wins this week, Manchester, Leslie, when they play Grass Lake, I think that'll be the de facto Cascades East game. Winner will play in the conference title game. And I have a winner circled here on my sheet, but I'm still a toss-up between the Dutch and Leslie. I think this will be such a good game, and it's an interesting game because Leslie is more of a spread, and you could call them even an air raid team. Leslie playing against the most full house T team in the area.
It's an interesting matchup.
This is going to be interesting how Manchester's defense lines up with it. But we have seen how Lindemann lines up with it before, though, because for a couple years when he was with Addison, they played Napoleon in the Cascades title game. And Napoleon, not this year, obviously, they're wing T this year, but before that, they had, all that great senior class. They had all state champions at wide receiver and quarterback and running back. So we've seen, though, how Lindemann lines up against passing offenses. So this isn't something new for him. But I think quarterback Joel Cranmore and Leslie are playing really, really well right now. I think other than Hanover, to me, Leslie, of course, Lumen's always, number one, the best team in the area. But besides them, I think other than Hanover, Leslie would be, to me, the next best team in the area. So, close game, I'm taking Leslie.
I was hoping you were going to take Manchester. So
After all that,
I know.
hoping
I was hoping you were taking Manchester because I have Leslie as well. I'm just so impressed by quarterback play and just they are a good football team. They are one of the best in the area. So can't not pick Leslie here. I got to take him, even though I want to differ with a few of these picks. I can't pick Manchester here.
Cascades West battle. Both these teams need to win this game to hang on with Hanover in the west part of the standings. Addison Jonesville. Jonesville has struggled. They only scored 6 on a depleted Michigan Center team a couple weeks ago. So, and Addison only scored 8 against a Columbia team. Coming into that game last week, let's be honest, nobody expected Columbia to win, let alone 38-8. So I think this will be a good battle for both teams. And again, it's a must-win for both Jonesville and Addison. I am going to take the Panthers of Addison at home.
Hey, we differ in something. I'll take Jonesville. But
you're going to take the Comets?
To me, this is a toss-up. Both teams really need this, like you said, and both teams are going to play hard. But I'll just take a slight edge with Jonesville. I think that they're playing maybe a little bit better, so I'll take them. But both of them had disappointing last weeks. But I think Jonesville will pick up the win over Addison on the road.
One of the 3 best teams in the area right now, the Comets from not Jonesville, but Hanover. Another West battle taken on Homer. Homer beat Vandercook last week, got their first win of the year. Hanover's on fire. Give me quarterback Luke Soper and the Comets.
Yep. Can't pick against Hanover Horton right now. Yeah, I can't pick against them. So Hanover Horton, the Comets of Hanover Horton are the team to beat. So I have them.
And even coming into the season, not a lot of people expected Hanover to be 5
I didn't
if they
expect
win
them
this
to have
Friday,
this
it'd be
record.
5-0.
Yeah, I didn't expect them to have this record at all.
And right now, we still have 5 weeks left in the year, but early playoff projections, if the season ended today, Hanover would have home field advantage all the way through until the semifinal.
That's so awesome. That is so awesome.
So good for the Comets and Coach Messer. A game we will be at live Friday night on JTV. We've mentioned it in the building. Little homecoming game for me.
That's right.
Grass Lake. For the supervisor, Dan Gallagher. And for both Grass Lake and Napoleon, for Coach Burgett.
That's right.
And Max Fritz. So, Napoleon's a young team, and they have bright spots. They're 2-2 coming into the season. I don't think a lot of people thought they were going to be 2-2 coming into week 5. So, but Braden Lape and the Warriors have just been too much. And if you look at the stats, Grass Lake can run the football. Like if Grass Lake really wanted to go only run like Napoleon is and still win, they could do so because that's what they did last week against EJ. So, but they can still pass. That's what's great about Grass Lake's offense. When you have a amazing quarterback like Braden Lape and exceptional senior receivers who can go out and get the ball, and Lape who can throw, and also they can run the ball. They have a great running back in Luke Guthrie. I think it's going to be too much. So, not even being biased here on paper. Even I think Grass Lake's the favorite.
I think there's a little bit.
And
of
I'm
bias.
going to take the Warriors.
I think there's a little bit of bias in here. It's like when you pick the Packers every week.
Well, I'm an owner. I have to.
Of course.
But anyways, sorry. Give me the Warriors.
Yeah, no, I really want to take Napoleon just because I knew you were going to be taking Grass Lake. But here's why I have to take Grass Lake. Because they can do both. Because they can run, they can pass, and I don't think if Grass
they'll
Lake...
They'll have it whatever way they want. If they want to run the football up, if they want to run the football on them and win, they will do that. If they want to air raid it out, they'll do that.
For sure. And I just feel like if Grass Lake can go up 14-0, Napoleon, that's tough to have to come back with when you're a run-based offense and then you're facing, you're facing a team that can also run the ball and also run that timeout. I just think that Napoleon, it might be a close game. I think it will be, but I think Napoleon's not going to have enough time to do what they want to do. So that's why I got Grass Lake
And
here.
even though Napoleon has won 2 games, they're 2-2. They still haven't scored a ton of points in those games either. Like, it's been low scoring.
And that's why I think that might be an issue in this game. And I just think that clock's going to eventually run out on them.
Not only do they have to beat Grass Lake to stay in the race for the East, this is a must-win game for them in the standings. They have to put up points too. It ain't going to be a low-scoring win. That's not possible in this game, I don't think. So that's why I'm taking Grass Lake, because of their versatile offense.
Yeah, and that's it's just, like I said, I just feel like Napoleon, eventually that time's going to run out, and they're just not going to be able to have enough to get them down the field.
And Grass Lake's got an exceptional defense too. So
yeah, their defense is pretty darn good.
They won 70-0 last week. They only allowed under 50 yards of total 50 total yards.
But that
last
wasn't,
week.
That's not Napoleon running the ball. Napoleon running the ball is a little bit different. I think they're better, but it's just going to be hard for them. If they're down 21-3 at some point, I think it's over. They're not going to come back. But if it's 14-7 going into the fourth quarter, even, I think it's going to be a close one. If that happens, it could go to either of them. But if it gets out of hand quick, Grass Lake's just going to run away with it, unfortunately. But I'm excited to see this game. This is going to be one of the better games this week, so I'm excited that we're covering it.
We'll have more on that to wrap up the show. And a bonus game here, not even close to our area. I just wanted to throw you off this week. Marine City, Cardinal Mooney, Saturday, 1 o'clock, taking on Waterford, Our Lady of the Lakes. Give me the Lakes.
Oh, awesome. I'll take Cardinal Mooney because it sounded like Darnell Mooney. That was the only reason. I don't know.
That's great. You'll take Mooney, and I'll take Our Lady of the Lakes. I'll have to keep up with that game Saturday.
Please watch that on Saturday.
I'm down here enjoying the Chili Classic and Fall Fest.
That's
I'll
right.
be keeping up with Our Lady of the Lakes. College, give me the blue, Mason Blue over Minnesota Saturday.
They proved me wrong. They beat USC. It wasn't pretty, but they got the job done, and I did not think they were going to beat USC. As much as I wanted them to, I didn't think it was going to happen.
Even Desmond Howard picked USC on game day.
Yeah, I mean, but I was very pleasantly surprised. But I think they play well here against Minnesota, and I think they keep the brown jug that's going to stay in Ann Arbor.
At noon on ESPN Saturday, number 20, the Cowboys from Oklahoma State taking on number 23, Kansas State, who got drilled last week by unranked, now ranked BYU. I can't believe I wasted not getting sleep Saturday night watching the rest of that game. It was like 40-9. Give me the Cowboys of Oklahoma State.
Yeah, I think Oklahoma State's a lot better than I think that number 20 shows. So I got Oklahoma State winning this game. I don't think you could. I don't know who would you put against Kansas State, where I would take Kansas State. I don't think I wasn't sold on them before that game, and then that was just terrible.
These next 3 games here are the 3 biggest college games in the land.
Next one I'm so excited for.
Number 15, Louisville at South Bend. Number 16, Notre Dame.
That's going to be a fun
game.
The
Irish, Saturday, 3:30 on Peacock. Give me Louisville.
Oh, I wanted you to take Notre Dame. I got Louisville winning this game. I really like them. I think I mentioned, maybe it was last week, that I mentioned, I think they're going to be one of those sleepers, especially getting into the tournament this year with the expanded tournament.
They win this game.
And then they're getting close.
Whoever wins this game.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I think they're a really fun team. I have Louisville winning this on the road. Won't be easy. It's going to be a very close game. I think it'll be back and forth, but give me the Cardinals.
Now, this next game will not impact the college football playoff. Both teams, I think, will still get in just because of their names. But it will impact the SEC championship.
It's the big one.
Yeah, you need Georgia here, don't you?
I need Georgia. I really want
Number
Georgia.
2, Georgia, going to Tuscaloosa Saturday night. That is going to be awesome. Woo. Against number 4, the Tide. Give me the Bulldogs of Georgia.
Oh, and you knew I was picking the Bulldogs too, so you could have had Crimson Tide.
Yep.
Bulldogs.
Really, I should be taking Alabama because
you should.
My dad's a Roll Tide alumni, and we have close friends who live near Tuscaloosa.
You change your pick right now. You could change it right now. You could.
Let's go to Adam. I'll take the Bulldogs.
I tried. I have Georgia winning it all this year. So Georgia.
Wow.
Yeah, so Georgia needs this win.
You don't think Arch Manning can lead Texas to a natty because still isn't playing?
I think it's Georgia. I think it's Georgia Texas in the national championship. So
Georgia against Arch Manning.
It'll be fun. But this game is the marquee game under the lights in Tuscaloosa. It's a tough game.
That environment is going to be.
And this is one of the biggest rivalries right now. Look at what this is their first time without Saban going into this rivalry. Alabama's,
it's Kalen DeBoer against Kirby Smart.
Well, and Alabama usually, at least recently, it's like if Georgia loses, they lose to Alabama, and that's kind of it. But this Alabama team is a little different without Nick Saban. Even though they've played well, I think Kirby's got a game plan going in. I think Georgia wants that number 1 back, and this win here will give them their number 1 back.
I think whoever wins this game will jump up to number 1, even if Alabama wins.
Yeah,
I think they'll jump all the way up from 4-1 because Texas still has not played anybody. They beat Michigan, but Michigan's not the same, though, let's admit.
Yeah.
So I think even if Alabama wins, they'll jump all the way up to number 1. So another big Big Ten game, number 19, Illinois, at number 9, Penn State. That'll be a big environment, too, at Happy Valley, the whiteout Saturday night. Give me an upset. Take me the Fighting Illini, Illinois, over Penn State.
They got good defense. There in Illinois.
And Penn State, they're pretty much as close to a T as you can get on offense without actually being a T. So give me Illinois.
I got to be different. I'll take Penn State at home. I think with it being at home with the whiteout.
I'm okay either way, Illinois, Penn State.
Sure.
So.
And I think, that game is close if it's in Illinois with maybe a slight edge to Penn State. This is the most difficult game Illinois will face. The fact that it's the whiteout, it's one of the, if not the most intimidating environment in college football.
Well, you remember the old clip of them playing Mo Bamba when Michigan came out there? And,
that is so sick. And they got the false start in the first play, wasn't it? So that's very tough for an Illinois defense to go out there and compete against them. So I have Penn State winning this game. Could be close, but we'll see. I think this is, like I said, it's an intimidating environment, and that they might not be fully prepared for that. So I have Penn State. I'm glad we differ in something.
And our last college game will be a blowout. I hate to say this, but give me the Buckeyes in East Lansing.
I don't.
This will be over before I even turn on the TV.
Yeah, I have like Michigan State this year in terms of I think they've played better than I thought they were.
Well, if they throw 4 picks, can't even beat Boston College, you're not beating the Buckeyes.
No. So
they have
that
no chance
performance kind of and that performance kind of showed me it's a different class. There's no way that that team from that state that's below us is going to beat Michigan State. That's all I'll say.
I agree. Let's get to the 5 quickly NFL primetime games here. Thursday Night Football, this may be the worst game of the year, the second worst game.
I was going to say the worst game of the year might be later in this.
Yeah. No, I take that back. The worst game of the year will be the first Monday night game. But Cowboys-Giants, give me Malik Neighbors and the Giants.
This is more of a must-win
for the Cowboys
than it is the Giants.
No, I agree.
I will take the Cowboys because I think there will be riots in Dallas if they don't pick up this win against Danny Dimes.
Unless if you're Jerry Jones, then you just ignore all the problems and he thinks it's all fine. So, Packers, we need Jordan Love back for this game. I shouldn't even be saying we need him back to play against Sam Darnold, but the way the Vikings have looked, I'm concerned. Do I think we'll be okay if Malik Willis plays? Yes. But Josh Jacobs cannot run for 43 yards again like he did last week. I know we played the Titans last week, but he cannot run for 43 yards again. Obviously, I'm taking the Packers, but it's going to be a close game. This is going to be a good game.
Yeah,
at Minnesota.
It's going to be interesting. I knew you were going to be taking the Packers, so I had to differ.
No, sorry, it's at Lambeau.
Oh, it's at Lambeau?
It's at Lambeau.
Oh, okay. I thought it was in Minnesota.
My guy Kevin Harlan on the call at Lambeau.
There you go.
So, Pack.
I'll take the Vikings. I knew you were going to take the Packers. I'll take the Vikings so we can be different. And Vikings have been one of
Shame
those
on
big.
you for picking the Vikings.
Vikings have been one of. And trust me, I want you guys to beat the Vikings because I want the Lions to win the division. But and right now that's the.
Well,
bigger,
I'm not
that's
picking the
tougher.
Lions Mondays, so
Well,
I'm already
great.
giving that away.
Well, Vikings to me are one of the biggest surprises so far this year. They've played extremely well. Sam Darnold has looked great. Maybe even better than Kirk Cousins, possibly. We'll see.
Who,
how
Darnold?
the year, yeah.
yeah, I agree.
he
He's
might-
been playing better than Kirk Cousins.
So, well, I meant like Cousins like last year as an example.
Oh, yeah,
You know, like who's the better Vikings quarterback? Darnold's played great.
Right.
I would love for you guys to finally stop them, but I think Minnesota continues this low winning streak that they're on now. I think it's possible Green Bay might get punched in the mouth with this game. You guys beat Tennessee, but it's Tennessee.
Right.
I think
yeah.
Malik might struggle in this game against a lot better.
Well, we're going to
defense.
be running the football.
I think
if Malik is starting, we're running the football.
Yeah, I think Van Ginkel gets like two sacks in this game. I think that defense might take over. So I have Minnesota beating the Pack.
I'm not upset by that, but I will say I do have Justin Jefferson on my fantasy
Ooh,
team.
so that's going to be like a conflict of interest.
I
there.
have a conflict of
Well,
interest.
if you need to
here.
trade him, just let me know because I'll take him off.
No,
your
I don't want to
hands.
give him up. I still need him after
Oh,
this
no,
week.
I'll trade him back to you. But
For who?
I don't know. I'll trade him back to you. Wink.
No, I'm not giving up the best receiver in the league. So, Sunday night game, Bills Ravens, two teams who, the Bills got a big win last week on Monday or earlier this week on Monday night, but before that they haven't played super great, and the Ravens haven't played super great either.
Well, you don't think the Bills have played really great? I think they have. To me, looking at
week one they should have beat Arizona by a lot more.
yeah, but they got the win.
Right, I
You
know
know.
a win's a win, but it shouldn't have been that close of a game.
I hate to argue with you about this, but I will just say that I think Arizona kind of started to figure things out in that second half of that game, and I think that's what led that. And then now we see how good Arizona is. Arizona beating LA. LA just
By a lot.
by a lot. LA just beat San Fran. Sure, a little bit depleted, but beat San Fran, and then we are a really good football team, and they hung in there too. So I think Arizona's a lot better. But I think the Bills are the hottest team in the NFL right now, other than I would put them in Minnesota. But I trust the Bills to win this game, which that's why I picked the Ravens, because the NFL's weird, and this is like the spot that I could see the Ravens picking
I
up
have
a win.
Lamar and Zay Flowers on my fantasy team, so I'm taking Baltimore.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll still take the Ravens, but I think everything would tell you to take the Bills. But again, the NFL's so weird that this could totally be a game that the Ravens might just be a good matchup for them. And a must win, a must win for the Ravens right now. You don't want to drop to what would they be 1-3 if they pick up the loss here?
Yeah, 1-3.
Yeah. So I mean, that's you can't have that for Ravens, who a lot of people thought were top of the list to win the Super Bowl this year. So I have the Ravens winning this game. This is going to be the game of the week. Could be the game of the year up to this point. This is going to be awesome.
We go from the game of the year to now the worst game of the year, Monday night. Dolphins on their third string playing against Will Levis, who is the worst quarterback in the league. And the Titans, give me Miami.
Oh, I will take the Titans in this game. They'll pick up their win here. I think I think Miami hasn't had a lot of time with this quarterback. Tennessee's they don't have a good team, but at least their practices are consistent with the team, with the players that they have, and they're not swapping out quarterbacks and worrying about different things. They're just focusing on winning this game. So I have Tennessee. It's going to be an ugly game, but I have Tennessee winning this game. Look out for a lot of turnovers. You might want to start Miami's defense or Tennessee's defense here.
Yeah, I don't remember what defense I just picked up. I picked up a new defense, not the Packers, because I don't want to play the Packers defense, I'll admit, this
Not
Sunday.
this week.
So,
yeah, not this week.
and our final game in the picks, Monday Night Football,
Lions.
Geno and Seattle. They haven't got as much attention, and they've been slept on through the first part of the season. Even though they're 3-0, they've been playing great. They beat Miami 24-3. I forget who else they played, but
Denver. I think Denver week 1.
they played Denver, who played okay. Denver just won.
Bo
on
Nix
Sunday.
looked awesome.
Right. So Seattle's been slept on. Not a lot of hype and attention on them, even though they're 3-0, and Geno has looked really good, and his numbers have been great. And the Lions had a close one with Arizona last week, and they had another close one before that with the Rams, and they had Tampa Bay as well. So, and all of those have been close games. And I think this one will be close too. I went to the Lions-Seahawks game when it was here in Detroit a couple of years ago, the high-scoring one.
Oh, yeah, that one was like 40. That was like 44-41 or something like that. That was a crazy game.
And my brother's a Seattle fan too. So,
yeah, I keep forgetting that. That's so weird.
Yeah, he's weird. Give me Geno. Give me Seattle on Monday night.
Oh boy, how do I even pick? Well, I know I'm picking the Lions, but how do I don't think Seattle's as good as you were saying. I know that they're 3-0 and they've played well. You know, they defeated Miami. Miami's Miami.
Tell you what, Geno keeps throwing for 300 yards. That's going to be scary.
Yeah, but if he keeps throwing picks, and that's the thing. When you look at the stats of Goff and Geno, they're pretty similar. That's not great. I think Goff has one more interception. He's had problems early in the season throwing throwing interceptions, especially when last year there was that long stretch of him not throwing a pick. And then you see this. So, that is upsetting to see that. But, especially if Kenneth Walker doesn't start, you're bringing in Charbonnet in here against a really good rushing defense that we have right now. I will definitely take Detroit. I don't know how. I really don't know what the score of this game could be. I could see this being Detroit getting back on track and really blowing them out, but then I wouldn't be shocked either if this was a one-score game, because Detroit we always seem to get to that point where it's like every game is a one-score game coming down to like the final drive. But we'll see. I'm optimistic. Give me the Lions.
And that is going to do it for our picks. When we come back, we will wrap up and we will quickly look ahead to Grass Lake Napoleon Friday nights, presented by Minuteman Sewer and Drain. Stay with us. Welcome back here on JTV. The good picks segment there. That's going to do it for this show. Real quick before we go, I do want to remind you again, we are live Friday night from Napoleon. Homecoming for the Pirates, 6:45. Grass Lake and Braden Lape come into Pirateville or Pirate Land, whatever you want to call it.
Pirateville?
Dan Gallagher's township to take on the Pirates. So me and Josh Burgett, Coach Burgett for Napoleon, and the Soup, Dan Gallagher, and a Grass Laker, David Rice, and Max Fritz will all be with you 6:45 Friday for another football night in Jackson here, brought to you by Minuteman Sewer and Drain. Should be a fun game. I'm looking forward to it. And it's going to be homecoming, so there's going to be a crowd there. So it's just going to be awesome. I'm looking forward to it. So of course, thanks to Minuteman Sewer and Drain, Pataki Orthodontics, and the Insurance Circle Agency. So that's going to do it for us. Watch the Tigers this weekend. Please do.
Woo, go Tigers.
Go Tigers in the Ed Orgeron voice. So have a great rest of your week. We'll talk to you Monday.